do have quite a large farming Dutch Christian community here.
Right.
And we're ourselves, Darren and I, were very deep into that. So we pull very hard from that. So here, thankfully, we've been very blessed with that. But up north, when the oil pulls so much harder and they're so much closer to it, it's a real struggle.
Just a better strategy overall to retain an employee and develop them than it is to go find a new one. The oil field has really impacted us because the oil field, we're so close to it, and it goes through its cycles. And when they're on an upcycle, they go on a hiring binge and they just crank up the wages until they get enough people to do what they need. But on the flip side, as soon as it goes through a down cycle, they lay them all off. And a lot of our employees have experienced the oil field and are tired of that cyclicality of their employment and not knowing if, the next project they're out of work. Plus, a lot of the oil field work around here is either 7 days in, 7 days out, or 14 days in, 14 days out. And the days out look attractive, but a lot of people don't. They underestimate the impact of being away from their families for 7 or 14 days every month. We have had to remain competitive on wages, and so we've had to boost our shop door rate to be able to be competitive on wages. And we can't pay oil field wages, but we pay very well for the ag industry. The other challenge we have with the oil field is they've figured out that farm equipment dealership technicians tend to be pretty good workers. They tend to think on their feet and work hard. And so they're specifically targeting farm equipment dealerships to recruit because they see the value in the technicians that we're developing as well too. So we work closely with colleges like Olds College here in Olds, Alberta, that does have a registered technician program, and we sponsor apprentices for that. And we do an annual scholarship to try and help them with the schooling costs. We also do a tool allowance because when a technician comes on board and when they're just starting, their physical toolbox is small, and then that helps build them because they need a certain level of tools just to perform their job efficiently and safely as well too. So that's really what we do, is we try to not compete with wages, but we try to have a competitive wage, but we really try to compete with culture. And by doing that, I mean, whether it's a weekly team meeting so that they know what's going on within their department in a given week, whether it's a monthly store meeting, we try and do a monthly luncheon where the senior management team will attend whenever they possibly can, answer any questions. And then twice a year, we do a formal all-employee meeting where we recognize long service employees, but we also do sort of a recap of the last 6 months and then a preview of the next 6 months as to kind of what's going on, because we want our employees to know what's happening with Noble Equipment. Are we working on a going concern, or are we working on something that doesn't have a great future and we think it's got a great future? So that's why we believe in that communication. We've definitely been successful in bringing a few back from the oil field. And again, it's not that we compete directly on wage. I mean, the oil field wages can be $60, $70 an hour. And we don't have a high enough door rate to pay that, but we compete on quality of life and culture and everything else. And a lot of them realize that money isn't everything, and being home and part of your community and being part of, being with your family and everything else is more important. You got to have enough money to pay your bills, but that extra little bit you earned there when you're away isn't always worth it. So yes, we have brought some back, but sometimes it's tough. They get into the trap of earning bigger dollars and spending bigger dollars, and then it's hard for them to get off that treadmill and get back to a more commonly available wage. Let's put it that way.